Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Week 5, Assignment 3, Video Critiques. This time around we did HDR images, and we're going to be looking at Cassie's work, Penny's work, Shannon's work, and Shelley's work. So without further ado, let's get into it. Basically what we're going to be doing here is looking to see, okay, did you do everything correctly, and how did your results come out, and then again, how do they look as images? Alright, so looking here, I'm not sure what the -2, -1, I don't know if that was some sort of bracketing thing that was on your camera. What you want to do here is, rather than have the same exposure settings each time, just start with, say, 1.3 seconds at f32. Start with that, then go down 2 stops. So, boy, that's tough to do. I mean, f32 you're talking about. f64, f128. That's pretty. Oh, that's okay because you don't want to do it with the haha. If you guys remember from the reading, you don't want to do it with your aperture. You want to do it with your shutter speed. So 1 second, so you're talking about f32 at 4 seconds, f32 at 2 seconds, f32 at, we'll say 1 second, it's like right there, f32 at half a second, f32 at a quarter of a second. So you do actually want to change your shutter speed in between each of these, and not your aperture, because that could change your depth of field. Give you a weird result. I mean, yeah, it's pretty, basically when you HDR these, you came up with something that looks like all of the above. Now sometimes if you have like maybe like a dial for exposure compensation on your camera, you still probably don't want to use that. You just want to use the thing because, again, they all basically look like the same exposure here, and you do want them to look like this should look 2 stops underexposed, this should look 1 stop underexposed, this should look properly exposed, overexposed by 1 and overexposed by 2 in order to get the image with the dynamic range. Having said that, I do think it's a pretty fun image. Looking at again the black and white here, maybe some kind of like a toned one here. A little bit of lag here for some reason. Okay, so I think probably between your 3 final versions, this is the best, simply because I feel like this is an image where the color is pretty important, especially with all the pink and sort of green sparkliness. I think you do need the color. But yeah, that was not quite it with the different exposures here. So yeah, let's move on to look at Penny's work on this one. All right, so we have a definite range in exposures here. Okay, so yeah, they're just like in a weird order. So you started here with again the proper exposure, plus 1 stop, plus 2 stops, or 1 stop over, 2 stops over, if you want to think of it that way. And then 1 stop under, 2 stops under, and the result is, sorry, it's taking my computer. It's got a lot of lag today for some reason. There we go. The result is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you can sort of see this. It's almost like a kind of glowing look that you get with HDR, and you do see that here. You definitely have it. Overall, it looks just a hair light, but you definitely did the effect correctly. And I actually think that this is the better version. Oh, surprise, surprise. Colin likes the black and white version over the color version. Obviously, I don't always say that because I didn't just say that with Cassie's, but I think that with the HDR and the black and white together, or I mean, it's technically not black and white, but the tinted black and white, You get a nice overall effect. I think that's really a pretty nice portrait that you have going on here. Let me go ahead and just zoom in and click there on that. Yeah, and again, you're getting a real nice, even like if you look into the darkest areas, there's still some detail. If you look into the brightest highlights, still a little detail. Yeah, that's great. It's funny because if you have a subject that moves at all, you just have to make sure that they're real still, but it does get exponentially harder the more potential for movement there is. But that's a really pretty nice portrait. I might have actually, I don't want to be nitpicky, but I might have actually done this as a horizontal, or as a vertical instead of horizontal. But other than that, I think that's great. I think that worked out really good. So up next we have Shannon's. And alright, she did even like more brackets here. So I have, I guess maybe just going by thirds, right? So yeah, well, roughly. So anyway, 2 under to 1 under to right on to again up to +1 and +2 stops overexposed here. Looks like she did actually do. Did you do? Looks like you did the thing that I was just telling Cassie not to do, because you can see the exposure stay the same. But this can be actually, if you do it correctly, it can be a faster way to do it. Like on, I think my Canon. I have a Nikon and a Canon that I shoot with. There's actually a little thumb wheel near the shutter button that you can actually just do clicks and do this potentially a lot quicker. I guess maybe before I said don't use that, I would say if you get good results, do whatever you have to do to get good results, because the results here are actually quite nice. If my computer, there we go, okay. I'm going to zoom way out here so we can get the whole thing, because this is a pretty vertical image here, right? But yeah, I mean, a real nice looking image. And part of it again is that she, has a pretty interesting, rough backdrop, a sort of tonally, a muted tone, muted color overall, but colorful within that muted tones. And yeah, I mean, you just get a real nice range. Again, detail in all your shadows, detail in all your highlights. Just a very nice looking image. I enjoy looking at it. The only thing I would potentially change is, I don't know if I quite like the shadows. I mean, that's so picky though. I'm not even going to mention it because I don't even think it's worth mentioning. Because I mean, this is really nice. Love the texture. Love the palette. I love all these fun graphic elements going on here. So yeah, I'm not even complaining about something as insignificant as that. Okay, and then she has some different tone versions, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in to get those, so you can take a little closer look at it. Alright, so we have the original, you have the black and white, and split tone. I do like the black and white, again, big surprise, just because I like a lot of the tonal stuff that's going on here. But I think overall I actually like the color version the best, simply because I really like, pardon me, sorry, really like the palette that you're using. Muted tones, colorful, yet feel like they go really well together. So yeah, really very nice work. And last but not least, we have Shelley's work here. And start off, that looks pretty good. 2 stops under. 2, 1 stop under. 2, yeah, pretty much nailed the exposure there. 1 stop over and 2 stops over. All right, well, so far all your exposures look pretty good. Let's see how they came together. Nice, definitely nice. Let's compare this to. So this, I think, was your. Yeah, okay. So this is your. Basically your exposure that you started with, and then here is your HDR. And yeah, I mean, you just see like your highlights have details, your shadows have details, although it's not too shadowed, but you can see a little bit of shadows in here with details. Definitely a very, I mean, you did it correctly. I'm gonna look at a couple of the, yeah, I think actually maybe the final, the HDR split tone, is the most successful. Although, again, I like the black and white. I can help it. I love black and white. But yeah, I think this, simply because it feels a little bit warmer to me. Although even the straight color version looks good. I mean, just like with the one we were looking at previously, you have a fairly muted palette, but all the tones go well together. You know, sort of, you start with the brown, and then you have this red with a lot of brown in it. Start transitioning to the pink. Even the pink is kind of muted. Yeah, I think. I mean, I do like this. I do like all versions look pretty good. I would have a hard time pinning down one version as the best version, but yeah, I think overall this was definitely a success for you, Shelley. Well exposed, well composed. I can't think of a third thing that rhymes with that. I didn't intend that to be a rhyme, just sort of. Anyway, yeah, just really visually pleasing. So nice work. So the word that you should post below, I'm actually going to make it 2 words. Madison, Wisconsin. Just for the heck of it. Madison, Wisconsin. I lived there when I was 2. Right. Just random facts, I don't know. Just popped into my head. So yes, Madison, Wisconsin. Anyway, yeah, great work. You should be seeing, everyone in this video should be getting a second video fairly soon after the first one. I'm going to be recording it right after this, but actually the longest part of the process is actually uploading them for some reason. I don't have a slow internet connection. It's just, for whatever reason, this program takes up a lot of RAM on my computer. So it tends to upload slowly. But anyway, it's maybe a little inside baseball for all of you. But yes, good work, and I will see you again very soon.